All right, guys. So today we are going to do the dirty cow attack. Okay, and it's going to be a very simple attack. It's just a script which we have to execute. We have to actually change the script, and that will do the job itself. Okay. So, um, it's actually dirty cow is a vulnerability. It's a racing condition. It's a vulnerability in the operating system, which Linux itself, which was actually patched in 2016. So it's one of the latest attacks you are doing in this subject. And what basically an attacker can do is the attacker or the threat actor can gain the root privileges. Okay, so you as a normal user cannot do many stuff, right? You probably do not have the privileges to make changes to any files, or anything. But as an attacker, even if you're not a um, root, you can actually modify things. So this was what the vulnerability was about. Okay, so we will be using this vulnerability and see that in action. So we can modify any file. All right, so first we will take a sample file, we'll modify it, and then we will actually modify one of the systems file to gain root privileges. Okay, right, so let's take a look at that. So there are two tasks. So first task is, as we said, we will be doing the modification of a dummy file. Okay, so first thing is we create a dummy file and execute the attack, and we verify that the attack is successful. Okay, so that would be the first task. So just use your CyberSec server virtual machine for this lab, please. Okay, you don't need any other even turned on for this one. You can actually turn them off. So CyberSec server is the only one you should be logged in right now. Okay, so while you're there, go to the terminal. In the terminal, we will be creating a dummy file. Okay, so the recommendation is you create a dummy file in this path, by this name as well. So we have XYZ. You open the file, you write the text there, 111.12222.3333. Please follow the same syntax as, enter the same value, because we will be finding something from here and it should match that. Once you're confident, you can actually play with it and change it in whatever way you want. So the first thing is sudo gedit or nano, whichever editor you're using, and you create the file XYZ. In the file, you enter the content, 4 1s, 4 2s, 4 3s, and just save it and exit from it. Okay. When you will enter, it will ask you for the password, of course, for the first time. It always does that. And yeah. Okay. Sudo gedit file name, and then enter the text and save it. Okay. Who has done it? All right. Good, 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 good. Cool. Okay. Right. So again, you're just creating this file. The name is random. Okay. Just any name in the root, and we are just entering this content. This is what it's in the file. Okay. Now, yeah. All right. Now let's take a look at the file permissions. So, whenever you put ls, it lists all the files in that folder, and this gives you the explanation of the what the file permissions are, and we are just looking into this specific file we just created. So when you execute this command, this is a proof. You need a screenshot, yes, for this as well, that you look at the file. This is the file here. It is displaying the file was created at this time. these are the privileges of the file. Okay, we will look into these in much more detail, what each one of them means. But so this one is actually for the root. So you see, for the other user, it is only read only. It's actually for the group. For the root, you have read and write privileges. Okay, and for any other user, for user like you and me who are not using sudo, when you're not using sudo, you are this user. Okay, so you see, we have only read permission. We don't have write permission here. Okay, only R. And this last part actually mentions if it's, the groups. So we are not in the group, so that doesn't relate to us. So the only thing, these two are related at the moment. So you see, root has read and write privilege, but any other user has only read privilege. So as any normal user, we are not able to make any changes to this file. Okay, remember when we created the file, we created with the sudo privileges, and then you put the password in, and then you put the content in. Okay, so that verifies that we don't have a normal access to write this file. Okay. Yeah, as I was explaining that, you see, this is very important for you guys to understand how it actually looks like in Linux. So the first dash is the file type. So if it is dash, it is file type. If it is, I forgot the letter. If it is some letter, that means it's a folder. Okay. Then the next 3 bits are for the owner or the root. The next 3 bits are for the group, and the last 3 are for the other. Okay. So if you have R, which it means you can read it. If you have W, it means you can write it. If you have X, which is not there, so if dash means there is no privilege for that. If it was X here, it means he can execute it as well. So dash mean denied. Okay, very quickly. So this is always in this order. Okay. So only owner has the right privilege. That's important, and anyone else has no right privilege there. Okay, that makes sense. So now we verified we cannot actually modify the file as a normal user. What we are going to do is we are verifying in second way as well. Just open it without sudo command. Open the same file without sudo command, gedit the file name or nano the file name, and try to make changes to it. Make a small change in the file, try to save the file, and you will see that you get an error because you did not use the sudo privilege, right? You just logged in or accessed it as a normal user, and you don't have the privilege to make any changes. So when you save it, it will give you the error. Okay. So that is another way to verify. You know what I mean? So we have verified it twofold. And so like this, I went into the file, I made small change, and when I saved it, I got this error down here, permission denied. We all will get that. Okay, so this reconfirms, reassures that yes, we cannot change anything. Only the root can make modifications to the file. All good. Now we are going to launch the attack. Okay, so there is a script which is in the C program. We just want to look at this script, which is given to you on not UTS Online, but on Canvas. So you copy it to your path where you want to execute it from, just like, last week we copied the files onto the desktop. You need to copy the same cowattack.c file to the path, and then you go to the path and execute it, or we are just actually looking at it at the moment, the source code. Okay, so when you copy the cowattack.c file on your virtual machine and you open it and you read the source code, here is how the source code looks like. Okay, so you copy the code and you want to save it, it's up to you, or you move the file however you want. It should be on your server. Now, if you look at the code, we want to look in the code in detail, and there are only two areas, parts which we are interested in. Okay. The first part is highlighted here, where what we are doing, this script is doing, actually not us, but yeah, we are accessing this file. So this, we will be actually finding the file which we want to target. So we can always change this. Okay. Whichever file you want to modify, you put the file name here. So right now we want to modify the file which we created, and we know it is in the root, and the file name is XYZ. So this is why we just wrote that. Okay. So we will be opening this file. So all this script is doing here is accessing the file and opening it for us. Okay. The second part where we are interested in the whole source code is further down, which is there, this part, where we are actually finding the position, the text which we want to actually modify. So let's suppose we are searching for this text in the file. We are searching for 2222. Remember, we put 1111 2222. So we are just searching for this combination of strings, and wherever this program will find that, it will replace it with whatever we want, and we want it to be replaced with all these asterisks. Okay? So you can replace it with your, any 4 digits you want, or anything you want. Maybe you just want to replace it with, ampersand sign, dollar sign, whichever, I don't know. So you can replace the text with any text. Okay, and that's all we are interested in, the whole script. So two things, again, the first thing is to search for the file, to target the file, actually give the exact path of the file, the target file. And then in that file, we are searching for the string and replacing it with this string. Okay. All right. So again, you go to UTS Canvas. It was online before. Download the file, open the file, or if you want to look at the source code, you actually do want to actually change it. So open the source code and make these changes. So after you have made the changes, you are ready to execute. So the first line of command here is actually compiling. You have to compile the file manually. So we are compiling the file and then we are executing it. So it's a two-step process. So any errors, you ignore any warning message that may be displayed when you're compiling. Don't worry about it. And then you execute it. Okay, so the second one is executing the script. So when we execute the script will do its job. It will search for the file. You see, if you get these warnings, just ignore those. So as soon as you execute it, just wait for 1-2 seconds, and it's very quick, and you don't wait for it to show you anything, and just press Control C to cancel it. Okay, now we want to see if it made the change. So we open our file again, okay, and there you go. It has made the changes. It has replaced 2222 with whatever character we put there. See, this was the vulnerability back then. Okay, so this is any random file we played with, we made changes with. Now there is a file in the system which has the entry of all the users with their privileges, which is in actually etc passwd file. Okay, this file in the system stores all the users and what their privileges are. Now imagine you are a user, any ABC random user, and you look into the file and you see you are not a root, right? You are just any random user. You don't have root privileges, and you make yourself a root, okay, by modifying this file. So this is what we are doing. All right. So first thing, we are looking into the file and we see that there is a root, and the indication that root has root privileges is, it gets these 00 values. Okay. And any other user, like, we are currently CyberSec server. Okay. We have some other, you know, randomly generated value, which is non-root value. If it is not 0, it is not root. Okay. It's a normal user. So what are we going to do? You get the idea probably. We will go to the file. We will target this file in the script. We will target this value in the script. Okay. And we will replace this value with zeros. And this will make us root. But please note that you don't want to actually make any changes to yourself at the moment. You may want to you should actually create a new user, okay? Because you're logged in as this user, so you don't want to mess it up. So just create a new user, just like we, create any normal user. So, okay, so a bit more about the format of this file. You see, it's very good that it's here. You have the username, okay? You have the username. Then number 2 is the password. If you have a password encrypted or not, then you have UID. This is what we are interested in. Each user must be assigned a user ID. 0 is for the root, and all other gets UID. Okay, so 1 to 99 is again reserved for someone else, but 100 to 999 are reserved for system administrators, and so on and so forth. So anything greater than that is a normal user. So this is a UID, and then you have a group ID. We're not interested in that, but you got the idea. Okay, so this is how you can actually understand the format of this file. Anyway, so we have to create a new user. Remember, do not play with the existing CyberSec server. So we are creating a user, and you just create a user in Linux like this, sudo add user, and you give the username, and you give, if you want to put a password. We are not putting any password, so just keep pressing enter. Okay, but this is your password as a root, so you put your password, CyberSec. So CyberSec will be added, and then it will ask you for what should be the password. You just keep that empty, maybe. Yeah, just create a user, and at the end you say yes. So the user will be created, and we will verify it again in the etc password file. So there should be this user created, CyberSec. Okay. So now again, we look at the file, and there you go. We have this new user created, and the ID, UID it has been given is 1001. Okay. Now guess what we are going to do? Yeah, we are going to actually target this file in our script. We are going to target this characters, search for them, and we will replace them with zeros. And this will make this a root, right? How cool is that? Okay, so let's go and do that. So we go to the C file, the one which attack.c. We change this place with the target file. Okay, this is the file we are targeting. We want to search for this character and change it with triple, all zeros. So this will make ourselves root user. And you compile it and execute it, and just quit it. Just let it run for 1 second. That's more than enough. And then just quit it. And then just go back to the file and see, there you go. It has changed and made CyberSec as a root account. So it was a very, very powerful attack back then. See how if you go to any company, or like I'm a student in UTS and I get the laptop from UTS and I cannot actually install anything on it. Okay, So if I could do that to my account, it would be fun. I can install any software on it. So yeah, you can become root by executing this attack. Okay, any questions, guys? Let me know. How can I help? I'll just stop the recording.
Sir, can you please